recording.
Okay, good.
All right, I'm Jamie Rendall with eXp Realty and Aerial Powers, and then we brought Scott Mumma. I want to call you Mumma. So you are with what, two companies? You own two companies, but you came here to talk to us about Roof Maxx?
Correct. I've incorporated Roof Maxx into my business. So I run under Roof Maxx of Montana. Basically what it is, it's a asphalt shingle rejuvenation. So it's an all natural product that just kind of brings the older shingles back to life, giving consumers, an extended life on the shingles themselves. What I'm trying to accomplish with the realtors across the entire state of Montana is, and I don't know if it's the proper word to use, but like a pre-listing roof inspection or a pre-sale roof inspection. A lot of times, the roof is an issue when it comes to finalizing that real estate transaction. The seller doesn't want to put the money into the roof because he's invested into the home to get it ready to be sold. The buyer doesn't want to have to even worry about the roof because, a couple different circumstances. Maybe the money that they have is for their down payment, or, they didn't like the color of the paint on the walls or whatever. They've got other plans for that. So, you normally don't know that there is an issue with the roof until the offer's been made and you've moved through the process to where now you've got a home inspector coming in, and he'll get up on the roof. He'll point out things that are wrong with the roof, or maybe right in there that the roof has only got another year or two of life in it. So what I like to do is come in prior to even receiving an offer. Now, I do free roof inspections and assessments, and it basically gives the seller an opportunity to address any issues with his roof prior to a full-blown inspection. So we can get up there, look at the roof, find any suspect areas that may pose a problem. If the shingles are starting to dry out to where, the inspector will say, we've only got, 1, 2, 3, 5 years of life left in that roof. We can do the repairs, we can do a tune-up, and we can apply this product. It's an all natural, it's called soy methyl ester. And basically what it does is it replaces the dried out petroleum oils in the shingle with the all natural soy oil. So this oil soaks through the shingles, allowing them to become soft and flexible and expand and contract the way that they're supposed to. It helps adhere the tar tabs down. So it kind of renews the shingle, takes it back to closer to like when it was new. So therefore, when the inspector comes in, he'll see that roof has been maintained, it's been taken care of. There's still a lot of life left in the shingles. And then that does not become an issue. Then the seller or buyer can focus on possibly whatever else the inspector found was wrong with the home. So, and like I said, it's free inspections and assessments. The tune-up and the treatment is a fraction of the cost of a roof replacement, probably somewhere around 25% of the cost of replacing the roof. So, and every treatment that I do comes with a 5-year warranty. It's transferable too. It doesn't stay with the owner, it stays with the address. So that way then the seller can kind of rest easy knowing that his roof has been addressed, it's been taken care of, and then the buyer knows that they're coming in and they're not going to have to worry about anything with their roof for at least the first 5 years. We can do this treatment repeated every 5 years. As of right now, the science and studies show that we can actually add an additional 15 years, up to 15 years of life to a roof. So again, this is a new product. It's been on the market around the United States for probably about the last 5 years. It is completely disrupting the roofing industry because normally a roofer will come out and they give free estimates. That's what their job is to sell you a new roof. As a 30+ year veteran roofer, I used to do it too. That's how we feed our families. That's how we pay our bills. But certain circumstances in life, I've kind of readjusted my focus. And I said, you know what, it's not always a replacement. If you can do some repairs and some preventative maintenance, and if you can extend the life of the roof itself, saving the consumer money, it's a win-win situation all the way around. So
That's awesome. And then, oh, go ahead, Ariel. What were you going to say?
I just said that sounds good. Yeah.
Well, and like I say, I mean, never before has a homeowner had an option.
Right.
Always been replace. There's never been anything available to them. A lot of roofers, they won't even come out to do, the minor repairs, stuff like that, because there's really no money in it for them.
Right.
They're focusing on changing roofs out. That's where they, again, make their money and feed their family and pay their bills. So, and we don't limit it to just residential. We do commercial, we do apartment buildings, we do anything that has an asphalt shingle roof.
Right.
I just did a job for a gentleman the other day on his house, and he said, "Hey, can you look at my shop? It's a steel roof." And I said, "Oh, I can get up and look at it." He had a bunch of leaks and stuff, and I had gotten up there and found out that, the rubber washers on the screws were bad. So we
Wow.
changed out 1,400 screws to make sure that water wasn't entering the building. Water is the cancer of any building, and it will
Right.
slowly eat the building from the inside out very quietly, so you don't know. And at that point, you've got, health concerns. Anybody that's got asthma or a weakened immune system, you've got mold spores growing and then floating through the house and stuff. So our goal is to, number one, educate the consumer on paying attention to their roof, because the roof and the foundation are the two least observed portions of our house. And most people, they don't realize that they have a problem until they have a problem. So this way, that's why we offer the free inspections and assessments, so we can address anything that might be suspect. And if
Right.
it is something, we can address it, get it taken care of before it actually becomes the problem. So
Right.
I'm
And that's
assuming that this doesn't work if a roof's like already been hailed out, right?
Okay, so here's what I always tell everybody. The reason that insurance companies will change a roof out because of the hail bruises is because what happens is that it knocks the granulars off of the shingle itself. So those bruises where the granulars are now knocked off is going to dry out extremely fast. So if it's too bad of a hail damage or a hail bruise, yes, I would refer somebody to make an insurance claim and get their roof replaced. But in most cases, if the damage is minimal, where it's just some minor bruising, this product will keep that hail bruise from drying out, because you're just replacing the oil that is going to be drying out. So I always try to use a vehicle as a reference, because we all drive vehicles. And when your car runs out of oil, what do? You put oil in it to keep it running, because vehicles are expensive. And so is a roof replacement. The average cost of a roof replacement in Montana is about $12,000. I mean, some are more, some are less, but the average cost is about $12,000. Where we're coming in, we're doing, the tune-up and the treatment for, probably less than $3,000.
Wow.
And again, we're adding the life to the roof, because we're able to extend it out. We're able to slow down that process of aging, so to speak. It's like lotion for your roof. You get dry skin, you put some lotion on, it's nice and moist and doesn't look dry anymore. Well, that's what this does, only for asphalt shingles.
Right.
Well, it makes sense, because you can see when you look at a roof that needs replaced, like you can see it start to like curl or like lose it. Like you can tell it's dried out. So it makes sense.
Exactly. And I like I said, I've been doing this long enough. I can drive by and I can look at the color of a roof, and I know about how old that roof is just by the color, because they'll fade out. Obviously the sun the UV rays will fade out the colors and stuff. But as long as the shingles aren't curling too bad. I mean, I've been on a couple of roofs where the shingles are literally standing up, and I just have to tell them there's nothing that I can do. other than give you an estimate for a roof replacement. But if it's got a slight little curl towards the end, if we rejuvenate it and we put this product on there, those curls will actually start to lay back down because you're softening that shingle again, you know.
Right.
Right. So once you put that on there, does that tend to help keep the moisture up off of?
Well, it helps in the water shedding capabilities. You'll notice on some older roofs that are starting to dry out after a rain. You'll notice somebody, like the neighbor will have a new roof and the other neighbor will have an older roof, and the older roof will still look damp or wet
Right.
because the shingles are actually trying to hold that water in it.
Yeah.
So it helps in the water shedding capabilities. It actually does reduce hail damage by 24%,
Wow.
which is a plus. On an older shingle, you know, those tar tabs that actually glue the roof together, they'll start popping because those dry out faster than the shingle itself. And the
Right.
roof is still moving, expanding and contracting. So it'll pop those tar tabs off, and then that allows the wind to get underneath them and then bend them, break them, tear them off, whatever, you
Go
know.
flying.
Yeah,
So-
well, I've seen a couple of them where, and it was a newer roof that actually was blown off, and the whole back of the house was blown off and laying up in their front yard, and they just had their roof done 2 years prior. You know, they don't make shingles like they used to 20, 25 years ago. They're a lot thinner, a lot lighter. They use about a third of the amount of petroleum oils in the shingles today than what they did back then. I was just on a 20-year-old roof yesterday, able to save the lady, you know, I think her total replacement cost was $9,000. I came in, it was like $2,100. And we tuned it up. We treated for 5 more years. So she was
Right.
happy about it, you know.
Would you be willing at all, like, okay, so somebody I know got really bad hail damage and they didn't have insurance, and we're trying to figure out how, I mean, it's a family member, so we've really been trying to figure out what to do with that situation. Would you be willing to replace part of the roof? And like, okay, so one side of the house got hailed like really bad, and then the other side is not so bad. Have you ever like replaced part of it and then did the product like on other parts of it?
The treatment on the other side, I can't
Yeah.
say I've ever had that particular experience. Again, without actually looking at it, I can't make
Don't
that
know.
determination, you know.
Yeah.
Again, it all depends on how bad are those
It
hail
is.
bruises, to determine whether or not this product can help save them or if it does need to be replaced. So
Yeah, which I don't think me or my husband, well, he saw the roof when we were doing the drive it. I don't know. I'd have to ask my husband how bad it is. I'm sure it's not good, but I don't know. We're just trying to be creative at this point. So
right. And again, like I said, I do the free inspections. So if you want, you know, shoot me an address or something and I can pop over and take a look at it. And, you know, like I said, I mean, I've been able to save some roofs. Others I've had to just tell them, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do for you,
right,
other than the replacement portion of it. So
right.
again, without actually physically looking at it, it's kind of hard to make that determination. But yes, I mean, if the one side of the house is bad, the other side maybe just has a couple little bruises in it, or maybe didn't get hit at all. Yeah, it's possible to change out a partial roof. I mean, you know, I do repairs all the time where I'm pulling up 6 or 8 shingles here, a dozen shingles here, 2 over here. You know, unfortunately, when you patch work like that, it's noticeable. You can see the difference between the new shingles and the old shingles.
Right.
If you're changing out, you know, the whole front half of the house, then obviously that front half is going to look consistent. You know.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I'll definitely keep that in mind and talk to my husband. And yeah. So I appreciate it.
Mhm.
And I understood. I think I heard the word pre-inspection.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So many times we'll be going through a home inspection and the home inspector will say, Well, you should have a qualified roofer inspect your roof for certification.
Correct.
Can you do that? And if you're providing a certification so we can get a home into close, is that it still a free inspection?
Yeah, all the inspections are free. I'm bringing to the table 30 plus years of roofing experience. So I would say I'm a qualified roofer. Again, I don't have a roof certification inspector, because that kind of poses a conflict of interest because of the business that I'm providing. So if I go in as a quote unquote certified roof inspector, and I'm not even sure in Montana whether you have to have that. I know you have to be a certified home inspector, but as far as a roof inspection goes, I think it's just by it, like you're saying, a qualified roofer. But yes, it's a free inspection.
That's great to know, because so many times that's an additional cost that we are experiencing.
Exactly. And like I said, the whole reason that I do the free inspections and assessments is for an educational too, because a lot of people, they've never even been on their roof. They don't, most of them don't even look up when they pull in their driveway. They're looking at the
Right.
face of the house. They're not paying attention to the roof. I've had people tell me, I just had my roof replaced a couple of years ago. And I always ask them, okay, so when did you have your roof inspected? No, I just had my roof replaced a couple of years ago. Okay, you still need to have your roof inspected. I tell people, even if you're getting a roof replacement, most roofers, they require half down, okay? And then they require the rest as soon as the job is done. I
Right.
tell people, before you write that last 50% check, call me. I'll come out, I'll look at the roof, I'll make sure that the roof was done correctly. We're all human beings, we make errors. Sometimes we get moving too fast, we overlook stuff. This way, whoever's getting the consumer that's getting the new roof can know when they write that last check that their roof is good to go. A lot of times, if you write that last check to try and get the roofer back out to your house because you have an issue, is pretty difficult. They made their money, they're on their way. They'll give you a 1-year labor warranty, which that's something I've never really understood. I've had it to where, I always, in my contracts, I'll put on there, manufacturer warranty applies, labor 1-year warranty. I've had people call me 3 years later, say, Scott, I had a couple of shingles blow off my house. I go out and I replace them shingles, and I don't even charge them for it, because that's my job. That's my name on the line. Now, if half their roof blows off, okay, now we need to address the monetary compensation for me to come out and re-roof that section of the house or whatever. But a lot of roofers, it's hard to get them back out to the house. So this way, again, like I said, the consumer knows that their roof was done right, everything looks good, they're good to go, and then they can finish paying the roofer his money. If there's something that needs to be addressed, they can go to their contractor and say, look, I had a guy come out, inspect the roof, this, and this needs to be done. And as soon as this, and this get done, I'll be happy to write you that check. And then normally the roofer or the contractor can get up and do whatever he needs to do to make it right with the consumer. So, like I said, I've had a couple of things happen in my life that kind of altered the direction in which I do my business. And my thing is education, consumer protection, making sure that, they're not being taken advantage of. I've had, actually a couple of weeks ago, I had a lady, she was in her 70s, and she literally was crying. She said, Scott, I can't afford my roof replacement. This roofer came in, he wants $17,000. And it was like a, 17 square roof. He was charging her $1,000 a square. That's
Wow.
like 3 times the average going rate of a roof replacement. Okay. Now she didn't tell me who the contractor was. If she had told me, I probably would have reported him, because that's just insane to take advantage of somebody who has no idea. Her husband passed away a couple years ago. He took care of all of that stuff. She didn't know anything. She didn't even know where to look as far as getting people in her house to do the normal repairs and the maintenance to her home. So And I went in and I told her, I said, you know what, I can get you taken care of. You don't have to replace your roof. You know, I think her bill was like $1,300. And she literally was crying. She said, I cannot believe that how much money you saved me, you know, and I got her an extra 5 years out of her roof, you know, and in 4 years, I'll go back and I'll reevaluate the roof and see, you know, can we do this treatment process again? Or does she need to plan on getting her roof replaced next year or the year after, you know? So I'm all about, you know, like I said, education and consumer protection, because there's a lot of people, a lot of fly by night contractors out there. You know, we get these hailstorms come through, all the out of town contractors are coming in and just taking advantage of people. And I just don't think that that's right. So
like, what's like the life of a roof typically, like 10
okay.
years?
And about 15 to 20 year life expectancy out of a 30-year shingle, because that's a big misconception that people don't understand. I've got a 30-year shingle on my house. No, you have a 30-year manufacturer warranty shingle on your house. That shingle is only going to last about 15 to 20 years because they don't use the same amount of petroleum oils in them that they used to. Those shingles are probably less than 1/8 of an inch thick. You know, there are a couple brands that make some that are a little bit thicker, a little bit more high quality, but you're paying for that. Consumers, they don't know what shingle's going on their roof. You know, they're getting a 30-year architectural shingle or whatever on their roof. And some of these contractors, they bid them high, they go out, they buy the cheapest product they can possibly get, and it looks good for the first year or two. You know, I was telling people, you know, normally about between ages 7 and 10 of the roof is when you can notice this accelerated dehydration of the shingles. You'll notice more granular loss, lots of granulars in the gutters or the downspouts. What I've noticed even this year alone, though, is most roofs about 3 to 5 years of age are now starting to show accelerated dehydration because the shingle manufacturers are just making them less expensive, cheaper. Let's just put it that it's cheaper. It's not less expensive because they're still charging what they were charging before. So, you know, and again, homeowners don't know. They look at their roof, it's new, but they don't understand that within that 3 to 5 years, you can start seeing the breakdown of these shingles. You'll start seeing shingles that are lifting. You'll start seeing shingles that are blowing and bending and breaking within that 5 to 7 year range. So I've had to kind of readjust myself because here I'm trying to educate people and I'm being re-educated. The more I get out there and the more roofs I see that are only 3 to 5 years of age and they're literally falling apart. The tar tabs are popping, you know, on the manufacturer warranties those shingles for 30 years, but they know that the shingle's not going to make it that far. So they don't have to worry about covering that warranty, except in a very minimum percentage of those roofs will actually make it past that 20, 25 year mark.
So what's your number, Scott?
It's area code 406-861-9630.
I probably I don't know. I feel bad because I'm probably going to waste your time. Well, I guess it's not a waste of your time because you replace roofs too. But
it's never a waste of my time. Again, it's nice for the consumer to know where they're at, what position they're in. You know, I've had, you know, people tell me, no, I got to have my roof replaced. My roof is 15 years old. It's been on there. I've got to get it replaced. And I've gone up there. All it takes is some simple maintenance, a few repairs, the treatment. I just got them another 5 years. And in a lot of cases, like I say, we can do 5, 10, 15 years, repeated treatment every 5 years. And we just keep out until it gets to the point where, you know, they're comfortable knowing that they got their money's worth out of their roof, you know, but people aren't normally prepared for that hefty repair bill. You know,
yeah, well, especially when they don't have insurance.
Exactly. Well, and in cases like that, I mean, even if, you know, I like say it's your family member's house and I went out and I looked at it and I said, okay, this is going to cost you $6,000 to replace this half of your roof. They may not have the $6,000, but what we can do is, you know, if the hail bruises are really bad, I will take, it's a special roof mastic. and I will just butter over that damaged area. And then we'll treat the roof. And then I will tell them, I can only get you one treatment. So you now have 5 years that you need to start planning and budgeting. In 5 years, you're gonna have to get your roof replaced. So that gives them a little bit of time.
Right.
It's not like an unexpected slap in the face. Hey, it's gonna cost you $12,000
Right.
right now. So this gives them that time that they need to, again, get the budget going, or figure something out within that 5 years of how they're gonna, be able to afford a new roof.
Perfect. Well,
Whether it's saving money, clean up your credit so you can go to the bank and take out a repair bill loan or something like that. But at least they know. And again, that's why I say educate, educate, educate. I'm letting them know this is where you stand. This is where you're going to need to be in 5 years or 10 years. And, and I've been on roofs where I feel very confident telling them I can actually get you 15 more years of life out of this roof. So at that 10 or 15 year age, if I can get them that extra 10 or 15 years, you're now closer to that 30-year mark, which is what their expectancy is. They're expecting 30 years out of their roof, even though nobody tells them that. And in all honesty, the roofers that I have seen around just here in Billings, a lot of them are, I'm going to say, inexperienced roofers. There are a few major roofing companies who have been around for a long time. They've got a lot of experience, but a lot of these roofers nowadays, they're coming in with 3, 4, 5 years of experience, and they're starting their own companies, and they're just blowing through it. They're hungry. They're all they want to do is make money, make money, make money. And that's the wrong attitude to have. If you take care of your customer will take care of you. And that's my philosophy. I'm here. I'm running a marathon. I'm not running a sprint. I'm not here today, gone tomorrow. I want you as a repeat customer over and over and over and over again, because that's how I grow my business.
I like that. That's a really good point. Because even I just pushed a couple of my clients to get, really push them to get an inspection. And I'm like, I don't even know why I did this to myself, because it would have been a for sure done deal. And I'm the one that made it a possibly not done deal, but I know it'll be better for it in the end.
Well, and
my
again,
husband's like, you told me that you wanted to do your very best to take care of your clients the end, no matter what. And I'm like, it's true.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Well, and like I said, that's why I do the pre-listing or the offer inspections. So that way the seller knows where they stand before that offer comes in. Because if that offer comes in and they accept the offer, everything moves forward from their full-blown home inspection. If there is an issue with the roof, like I said, I mean, I've seen it several times where the seller's like, I've already put so much money into this house, I'm not putting any more money into it. I can't come down on my price because I'm already barely making anything off of the sale. The buyer is like, I've got all my money tied up just in getting moved in here. I don't have the means to replace the roof. So therefore the deal ends up falling through because neither one of them is willing to make that adjustment,
Right.
Yeah, that's awesome to have that option. It really is, to get the deal done, because most everybody's going to want the deal to get done, so that's
Exactly.
awesome.
Well, and there's nothing worse than, you're excited. I'm selling one, or a first-time home buyer is coming in. They're excited to get this house. They've already fallen in love with it. And then the deal falls through. Then they start the whole process all over again. Well, at that point, once that home inspection is done, the seller now knows he's got an issue with his roof. So something at some point is going to have to happen, or the sale's not, unless it's a cash offer to where the buyer's like, I don't care. I just want the house. I'll take care, but few and far between on those,
Awesome.
So I'd like to think that I provide a value as opposed to just a savings. It's again, it's not always about the money. It's the value of the information in which I am providing to people. So that
I like that it's a solution.
They're educated and they know going in, I always tell everybody, stupidity is forever. Ignorance can be fixed with education. So if you're educated and you still just don't know, well, then I'm sorry. That's just, it's stupid. It's stupidity, So To me, educate, educate, educate. I like to inform people and let them know, in every aspect. You ask my entire family, I'm always trying to teach somebody some form of a lesson or, something along those lines. So, and sometimes my grandkids, they just roll their eyes at me like, oh, another Papa story, but in all actuality, I'm just trying to teach them. And so I was telling my wife, I said, maybe I need to go to school. Maybe I just need to be a teacher or something like that, but unfortunately, I'm middle-aged. We'll just leave it at that. And I'm been doing this for 30 plus years. So this is what I know. So the best thing for me is to educate people on something that I know,
Right.
That way I'm not, misleading them or telling them things that I don't even really know. So I'll just stick where I'm at, I guess.
That works. And question I had earlier, winter, does winter really affect the shingles with your product, or is that something that kind of saves the shingles with your product?
Can you do this in winter too? If we
No.
called you in the middle of winter, would you be able to do this?
If there's snow on the roof, there's no inspector getting on the roof. It's a safety issue. It's a visual issue. I can't tell if you've got ice, built up on the roof and snow covered. There's just no way to get up there and look at it,
Okay.
And normally, a home inspector, he will, pull permits, see how old the roof is, and then try to base his opinion on kind of the condition at that point, because he's unable to visually see it. So as long as there's no snow on the roof, I can get up, I can do the inspections, I can do repairs and maintenance. As far as the treatment goes, we can't treat under obviously 32 degrees.
Okay.
The best temperature for this is probably about 40 to 50 degrees and up. Again, if it's even just doing the help get that roof to be able to go through, the actual inspection itself. So, unfortunately, it's a seasonal job. We can't get up on every roof all year long unless we live down south or something like that. But the product itself, once I treat the roof, within 30 minutes, it's already starting to soak into the shingle. And within 72 hours, it's completely permeated from front to back. And it's, again, soften those tar tabs, allowing them to stick back down. It allows the roof to actually expand and contract the way it should. People don't seem to understand when it's 90 degrees outside, it's about 140 on the roof. So you got to think, and then, you get an afternoon storm blow through and it cools that roof down from that 140 degrees down to 70 degrees. And then the clouds go away, sun comes back out, boom, it's right back up to 140 degrees. So there's a lot of expansion and contraction on there. I always like to look at a building as a kind of like a living thing, because they breathe, they move, they shift, and if the building is unable to do that, it's going to suffer damage somewhere down the line,
Right.
So no, but that is a good question. As long as we're over that 32 degree mark, yes, I could treat the roof. But I like to, like I say, keep it around that 40 degrees or warmer temperature in order to do the treatments.
And it takes 72 hours for it to settle.
Completely go all the way through the shingle. Yep.
Would it be okay if a rainstorm came in, let's say 24 hours later?
Yeah, as long as it's 24 hours later. So if I spray it within that 30 minutes, if we don't get rain, it'll be fine. It's not like, if a rainstorm rolls in an hour or two later, it's not going to remove that product because it's already started to soak into the shingle itself.
Right. Okay, Danny, do you have any questions?
No, I'm going to go back and look at the recording and see what I missed. But do you have Scott's email address and phone number and stuff?
I do.
You'll share that with everybody.
The phone number is area code 406-861-9630. My email address is smumma@roofmaxx.com, and Maxx has 2 X's in it. And you can go to the website, which is roofmaxmontana.com. Again, Max has 2 X's in it. And I'm normally quick to respond to texts, emails, stuff like that. Sometimes if I miss a phone call, chances are it's because I'm on a job.
I don't know, even when you're on a job, you still answer my phone call, so.
And actually, yeah, I did answer your call that day. I was, 2 stories on a steep roof. Let me get down off of here and have this conversation. So the good thing about it was still relatively early in the morning. So I
Right.
had some extra time to spare.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it.
Well, I gotta talk to her, but hopefully you'll be hearing from me very shortly to have you get out to her roof. And I don't know, the only thing that I think might even possibly be the reason it would work is just because her roof, I'm sure, is older. So I'm sure it was a little bit better quality than it is now. So
Right.
that's the only reason I think there's even remotely any sort
Right.
of possibility.
Well, and that's like the roof I was on yesterday. Like I said, her roof was 20 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And, the granular adhesion was still really good. Probably, I would say maybe less than 15% loss, which is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
If I get on a newer roof that's, 5, 6, 7, 10 years old, something like that, we're already looking at almost 20%. So, and normally what I will tell people is if you have more than a 30% granular loss, I won't even treat it. I'm just going to tell you that it needs now. And I've had people who have been like, man, all I got to do, I just got to get a couple more years out of it. At that point, I'm willing to treat the roof, but they need to know that it does not come with the warranty, because the shingle is already too far gone, but they want to make sure that the roof stays intact long enough, again, for them to plan, to budget, to get to that point, and a lot of people, the reason I think that this product is going so well, I deal with, a lot of blue collar workers who are on limited budgets. I deal with a lot of seniors who are on fixed incomes, that this is a little bit better means for them to get the life out of their roof, protect their home, protect their personal property for less money than a roofer that's going to come in. And like I said, that's their job. I get it, but it's always replace, replace, replace. Even if you have minor repairs, they're coming out to give you a free estimate, not a free inspection. So that's, like I said, I try to emphasize that we do free inspections, not free estimates. Now, with that inspection, I will give you your options, your cost comparisons. We'll do, a repair program. We'll do a tune-up, and then the tune-up treatment program. So they have options, and like I say, that's what I want to give people is the option to make that decision. I am not a high pressure salesperson. I don't like people twisting my arm to buy something that I don't want or something that I'm not ready to do. So therefore, I just lay it out for them, show them what their options are, and then I just let them decide. And it's not like something that I make them decide right now while I'm sitting here talking to you. If you want some time to think about it, take some time to think about it. But just know this is where you're at, and these are what your options are. And then as a homeowner, you decide what you want to do. I'm getting phone calls from people I talked to last year, that have said, what, hey, we've, given this a lot of thought. We did kind of forget about it. But now we're facing this situation where something has to be done. And, we'd like to go ahead and move forward with it. So again, to me, it's a marathon, not a sprint. I'm trying to educate, get these people to know what I do, how I do it, get to know me personally, and then let them take it at their pace, But again, especially with the realtors, my thing is know what your roof condition is before you get that final inspection, and that could possibly kill the deal, And a lot of times, I'll get up there and they just need some repairs done. Couple $100, your roof is tuned up. We've caulked up, any exposed nail heads. And that's another thing I should probably tell you. Our tune-up consists of resetting and caulking any exposed nail heads, we screw down all the roof flashings. We don't nail, because nails will eventually back out. And once that flashing lifts off the roof, it allows snow, wind-driven rain, anything to get back up in there. We put all new rubber boots on all the penetrations, because those will dry out and crack, and then they allow water to go into the house. Well, people be like, well, I don't have a leak. Well, you don't know you have a leak, but it's literally just running down that pipe and into wherever that pipe leads to. So,
Right.
you know, I've been on some jobs where the shingles are good, but the ridge cap needs to be replaced, because the ridge cap shingles are thinner than the actual shingle itself. So they'll wear out probably twice as fast as the actual shingle itself, you know? So again, just little maintenance and repairs and stuff like that goes a long way. And it sure beats having a regular inspector come in and say, you've only got a couple years of life left in this roof. I'm going to say it needs to be replaced. The inspector can come in, it's got new ridge cap, it's got new boots, the flashings are secured, any loose shingles have now been resecured, you know what I'm saying? So a little bit of maintenance goes a long way. Even if it doesn't include that treatment, even like I said, if it's just the maintenance and the tune-up,
Right.
it looks good, it functions properly, and the inspectors like to see that the homeowner took care of that property. They made sure that what needed to be done was done, and then they get that passing grade and the sale can continue on.
Awesome.
Again, I'm not a home inspector. I just do the roofs. That's why
You're
I
just
always
a
tell
roof
everybody,
person.
I'm not there to look at the foundation or look at your wiring or plumbing or anything like that. I am there specifically for the roof itself, you know.
Right. Right. Well, Scott, I'm going to have you give out your email, your name, and your contact information one more time, and then I'm going to stop the recording.
Okay. It's area code 406-861-9630. My email address is smumma@roofmax.com, and that's 2 X's in Max. And the website is roofmaxmontana.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And I'm going to stop recording, and then we can see on afterwards if anybody has any other questions.